The entire team at Emsolation want to acknowledge that we are gathered on the traditional lands of the Wurundjeri people. We want to recognise that we are recording and telling our stories on the stolen land of our country's first storytellers. We wish to pay our respects to all Wurundjeri elders and ancestors, and to extend that respect to any First Nations peoples who listen to Emsolation. We recognise Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples' continued connection to the land and waters of this country, and acknowledge that sovereignty was never ceded. Always was, always will be.
Emsolation.
I'm a method actor. I'm the Joaquin Phoenix of National Press Club addresses.
And Michael Lucas.
People say queer baiting like it's a bad thing, and I just think depends on the audience.
This is Emsolation.
This is evidence Emsolation lives in a multiverse.
That's the same universe where the moon landing didn't happen.
You're in Emsolation.
Well, hello there and welcome to Emsolation. My name is Em Russiano. I'm a writer, a singer, a stand-up comedian, a maximalist power queen, a neurodivergent magic brain, a podcaster, and together with my best friend since I was 11, actor award winner and Logie award winner, screenwriter, Mr. Michael Lucas, I bring you this podcast. Hello. It has been a massive week for pop culture fans everywhere. We've had so many things occur. Obviously, the Grammys. We've had our Magic Mike Emsolation premiere. There is an entire breakdown coming up. Chella joins the show, my daughter. We need to give you the thorough, soaked review. That will make more sense when you hear the review. So many things to chat about this week. The older woman that took Harry's virginity has spoken out. We've got some facts about Zac Efron that shocked us. There's a lot. J-Lo and Ben, are they already on the rocks? But I'm just here to just say casual hello. I also wanted to remind you to press that follow button on the Spotify app if you haven't already done so. That helps us on the charts, you know, all the little things that help, and make sure that you are checking out our Instagram at Emsolation Podcast as often as possible. I am well. I'm still thinking about what I witnessed last night at the Magic Mike premiere. Some of you came along, a lucky few. We were given our own gold class. It was so great. Look, no, I'm not going to give anything away because we do give you a whole breakdown. There'll be sound effects. You'll feel like you've seen the movie, but you should definitely go and see the movie. That's what I want to say to you. Elio is on his second week in kinder. We're slowly getting used to it. He's, of course, got a cold already because he was at home for the pandemic for most of his short life. He has no immune system, so he's got a cold. And he's very good at articulating. He walks around saying, why? He said this to me this morning. Why me? My nose doesn't work. Why me, Mum? And then everyone he sees, he tells, I am sick. Because he's never done it. He's like a little tiny Victorian child. Like he's just, it's the 1800s. It's just a sniffle. But this poor kid has never had a sniffle in his life. Anyway, I'm getting a phone call. Wait, Scott just rang me to say, hang on, Elio wants to speak to you. Okay, well, let's call them and see. Well, I'll just call them now. FaceTime video. Elio wants to speak to you. He needs to have his medicine. Scott knows where I am, but that's okay. We'll just do a little ring and see. Everyone loves Elio in the intro. Wait, here we go. Hi. Why? I'm at work. How come you're in the car? Where are you going?
I'm going back home. So, is anyone out there at work?
Yeah, everyone's here at work. I'm doing the podcast. I have to go, but Dad said I needed to call you because you weren't well. Are you sick?
Okay. Goodbye.
Oh, hang on. All right. Are you feeling better?
No, he needs to have medicine, but he won't have
Oh, listen, you need to have your medicine when you get home so you can sleep.
So, goodbye.
Oh, he hung up on me. Oh, the shade. Okay, great. Well, I've got that to look forward to when I get home. What else is going on? I'm having, in the interest of sharing, I'm currently experiencing my last ever period. Yep. we share everything here. Well, not everything, but this feels like momentous because I have decided to have a thing put up my juts. I can't I don't know, something that looks like an alien antenna is going to go up my juts and it's going to stop my periods. And it lasts for 5 years. And in 5 years, I should technically be going through menopause. So I feel like I'm having my last ceremonial bleed. And then on Friday, I will go to my GP and legs akimbo. I'll have the thing popped up me. And then that's it, mate. No more explosive periods. Not like last night I had the worst. And there was a young man dancing on me and I was afraid I was going to end up exploding. Like, I don't want to go through those experiences anymore. I've done my bleeding, so it's happening. That's it. I've waited till I'm in my mid-40s to take control of my menstrual cycle, but here I am. The final period. It's the final period. It's the final. We're heading to Venus. Yeah, I'm very excited. Well, I mean, you've heard from Elio. We've talked about the final period. It's the final period. That'll be in your head all day. What else have I done? Magic Mike. Yep, that's it. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you. I'm going to go now. Please enjoy what's about to come. Bye-bye. Oh, wait. Play the music.
This is Emsolation.
Michael Lucas, welcome.
Thank you, Amelia Rossiano.
Zooming in from Sydney.
Yes, from Leichhardt. Don't know why I added that. Not very interesting.
I don't know why I'm laughing. And Chella joining us also. Hello.
Hello.
Now, two of us are dressed appropriately for the podcast this week.
I'm going to bring it next week in person. You just wait.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I just didn't want to get in trouble, so thought I'd put my best foot forward.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't pay that price. It's one thing to be a gay who's given up. You don't want to be like an early 20s.
For those of you not up to speed, last week Michael turned up looking like a down on his luck trucker and paid the ultimate price. All right, let's get straight into it. Last night, the Magic Mike premiere occurred with the Emsolators. It was a great night.
Yeah.
Did you have a good time, Marcella?
I did.
Yeah.
I really did.
Michael Lucas, you were missed.
Thank you.
It was so great to see them all turn up, and well done, full house. We gave them about 4 days' notice. They weren't allowed to bring a friend. Everyone had to come on their own.
I love that.
Also, big ups to the team at Warner Universal because they know us and me specifically. And Beck, who ran the whole event, came over and said, look, you can just wait till all the people are gone and then you and the Emsolators can have your own red carpet and your own photos. You don't even have to mix with the other people. I was like, babe.
And who, pray tell, were the other people? Were there, as you predicted, Married at First Sight contestants?
Yes.
Oh.
Maths contestants were spotted, I'm told. I'm told there were a few ex-batchy girls. A couple of the housewives were there. So, yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I was wondering who would go to the premiere of Magic Mike.
Well, fucking me and 40 horny Emsolators, I'll tell you right now.
I did, of course, live vicariously through the Insta story that showed you getting a private stripping session from a young man. Was there just the one?
No,
I mean, he
there
was
were
more
four.
than enough.
There were four. And Santilla Chingaepe came with me. She has tracked down Bronson, the young man who gave me a lap dance. I didn't ask her to because Bronson looks the same age as Marcella. So Chella
Yes.
sends me, she's like, Em, I found him.
He said to look him up on Instagram.
Well, Santi did. And she is one of the foremost historians in this country. You do not want to have Santilla tracking you down because she will. And she said
If
to
she
me.
has to go back into ancient archives, she will. She will find you.
Yeah. And she's like, yes, I found him. And I said, what do you want me to do with this information? Like what, send him a thumbs
No,
up?
I read that. I would go find it. You never actually text them.
Oh,
You just stalk them.
He was very clever. I mean, the backflips, the splits.
He had a great brain.
The pelvic thrusting. He was able to isolate the lower half of his body. I've never seen.
He was definitely the best.
Oh, yeah.
The body rolls were impressive. There's no doubt about it. Like I was a little bit worried at times for what was happening to his spine.
And my reaction for some reason was just to aggressively clap at him.
She looked like a toddler when like a Labrador does tricks.
Yeah.
Just go,
You also had slight, like, I don't want to make it creepy, but you had slight sort of, oh no, I'm not going to say it.
I feel like
Say
I'm
it.
not going to make it creepy.
say it.
I was just going to say, it's like, no, I can't. I was about to say, but I don't mean that you looked old, but you had slight sort of like proud Nan looking at grandson do something really excited energy. Like you weren't going super sexualised in your response. Santilla, on the other hand, I've never considered what her personal reaction would be to a stripper. It turns out she's pretty
She
on
loved
board.
it. She loved it.
Yes, she was on board. Don't even think. I missed that entire dig at me, and you will pay for that at an undisclosed date and time. Moving on, though. Magic Mike, the final tease. Let me give you a synopsis of what we witnessed last night. Mike is down on his luck because COVID has wiped out his bespoke furniture business. He's bartending at a schwanky fundraiser for a woman named Maxandra Mendoza. Maxandra.
Sandra, as in MC Sandra.
No, Maxandra.
I thought the daughter was calling her that as like as a joke.
No, Maxandra was Selma Hayek's character's name. Shut up. It was an amazing name. Okay, so at this fundraiser, one of the staff recognises Mike because he's there bartending because he's poor now and doesn't dance anymore. And she's like, I know you from college. I know you from something. And then she clicks and she's like, oh, didn't you arrest me one time? Because she's there with her boyfriend. And he's like, yeah, you were really drunk and disorderly. So he'd stripped for her at her college
Oh,
party.
really?
Yeah, right?
Oh, my God.
So he goes inside. No, she goes inside and obviously says to Maxandra, oh, there's a bartender out there who can just give you the dance of a lifetime. And so next thing we see, Channing Tatum, Mike, is packing up the bar. And then suddenly he gets called in, gets summoned by the billionaires to come inside and have a chat. And he gets in there
To come inside.
to come inside and have a chat. So he gets in there and we're looking around this amazing house and she's on a very angry phone call with her ex-husband and she hangs up the phone and she says to him,
Do you like bartending?
basically, I'll pay you $6,000 to give me a lap dance because I've had a bad day.
Oh,
And Mike's like, no, I don't do that anymore. And then she's like, no, I will pay you. You just have to dance for me. So then he walks around checking, how strong certain things are, just giving us a hint of what's to come. He clears the piano off. He tests some shelf that we suspect he's going to hang upside down from, but little do we know.
what? What did you do with the shelf?
The following 5 minutes from when she offers him $6,000 because she's had a bad day to give her a lap dance. And quite frankly, I would much rather that than listening to, say, Headspace or meditation or like whatever we normally do. I feel like there's a real business in lap dances for ladies who have had tough days. I feel like it's something we should be able to call out to and just turn up. I think that's an amazing idea. So what
Well,
follows...
Santilla's got you the contact details of the dude. You can do it any time.
Well,
Bronson.
Michael Lucas, I'll tell you right now, the following 5 minutes, the dance sequence that we are just not subjected, that sounds like we don't want to do it, but that is bestowed upon us are the horniest 5 minutes I have ever witnessed in my life. And I have to say, we get this situation, 4 minutes into the film?
Yeah, they didn't make us work for it at all.
They got their target demo. This is so important.
Straight in.
Didn't I say this last week? If they make me wait for some Selma Channing action, I'll start billing.
I thought they were really going to draw it out.
They did not.
But no, straight in.
So, oh my God, the dancing. He sits her on a chair and then first of all, he asks her permission because he's a feminist stripper with a heart of gold.
Yeah.
Consent.
And he says,
Consent is sexy.
can I touch your hand? And then it's just head in crotch, head in boobs, simulating going down on her while she's flying like a praying mantis against a window. Then he's hanging from the shelf he tests. And then he's humping her on the piano. And then, like, he grabs her and she's got her head, like it's a reverse shoulder ride, if you will. I'm sure that has a name. Reverse cowboy. I don't know sex names.
Wait, you mean when it's up against the window and he's just facing crotch?
You know when you give someone a shoulder ride, it's a reverse shoulder ride. So so her crotch is
a real breathing challenge for him.
But not only that, and here's straight away my brain's going to
Here's
this
the
place.
first flaw of here's the first issue with the plot.
My problem is this woman has been at her own fundraiser in Miami, so it's quite sweaty there. She's in a non-natural fibre jumpsuit with backwing sleeves, and she's allowing a hot, hard-bodied 40-year-old stripper to go head into crotch. There's no air there. There's been no shit. I mean, she's begging for a yeast infection with that outfit, quite frankly. And then straight away, this man has just gone, and she doesn't even, I would have, crossed my legs really quickly and, oh, please, can I just get some, I just got to go upstairs. I've really got to go to the toilet or something. And I would have quickly, go, like this, because we don't put soap down on a vagina. We know that it'll give it some air, it'll give us a splash, and just, open the windows up and just, opened my flaps up at the same way and just let some fresh air go through them before I let the young man place his head on my crotch.
He probably wouldn't care, though. He would be like, no, I love it. It's natural. It's you.
I love the smell of impending female decay.
I'm a feminist.
Anyway,
he moves around a lot. She doesn't just sit in a seat. She gets thrown around everywhere.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you how hot it was. I think it's the hottest 5 minutes I've ever watched from a movie of all time.
Wow.
Until I saw the final 5 minutes, but we'll get to that. So they end up, we're like, oh God, this is building. This is building. This is happening. And then cut from him flying her around like a praying mantis on his face.
Also, just lots of almost kisses, lots of we're breathing each other's same air, but we're not going to kiss. We're not going to kiss. Oh my God, we're nearly going to kiss. We're not going to kiss.
It's like, Julia Roberts. In Pretty Woman, they learn the rule. You can't.
I'm familiar with her. Yes.
That rule in Pretty Woman, you can't kiss them.
Oh, that's right. Don't kiss on the mouth.
No.
But then she does in Pretty Woman. She breaks it eventually.
She does. Well,
they're about to. They're laying on the big bench.
Piano.
The piano.
Was it the piano? They're on the piano.
Laying on the piano.
I've never seen a cinema of women turn so quickly on a film. If there's such a thing as blue flaps, this occurred, okay? Because we cut from them passionately frolicking on a piano to them post-coitus in bed.
Oh, no. That's not understanding your audience at all.
Everyone simultaneously yelled at the screen, where's the sex?
I'm not joking. 40 women.
Boo.
Where's the sex? I was the instigator of most of that. And then we have to sit through something they were trying to pass off as a plot. The middle of
narrative.
The middle of the film was a bit saggy. But, let's just talk about the fact that this night of passion with Mike changes her. She has an epiphany, right? And she then says to him, I need you to come to London with me for 1 month. I'll pay you $60,000. I want to make a theatre full of women feel the way you just made me feel.
We're going to wake them up with a wave of passion they've never felt before.
And he's like, what? No, I can't do that. She's like, yes, you can. And luckily, she got a theatre in the breakup from her ex-husband. She owns a theatre. She's got one.
How convenient.
So he flies to London with her and he's to put on a show that is to kind of recreate this stuffy kind of misogynistic play they've got already going on, but they're to reimagine that with strippers. So,
how do they find these strippers?
We get a dancing montage.
We're gonna need a montage.
Yeah. So, we watched Selma just sitting there being humped by like 50 men in a row. Montage. We need a montage of men gyrating on Selma Hayek. We get that. All right? But the thing is, she says to Mike, we cannot have sex during this 1 month because I never want to ruin the amazing memory I have of you from that night that we had together with the sexy dancing and the praying mantis reverse shoulder
Which
rise.
is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, and so they're living in the same house together and she's physically restraining herself from having sex with him because she doesn't want to ruin that one memory. I'm like, come on, bitch. If you have Channing Tatum next door to you.
You know how good he is.
He's not riding that thing like the fucking Tour de France. Like, my God.
You know how good he is. He's not going to, like, get worse.
Yeah, do you think he's going to be a shit, like a dud?
It's going to get better.
Do you think it's going to go downhill? Wait till he
Channing.
Wait till he learns all your fucking ways and your moves. You know, give him a chance. He was 10 out of 10 first, going to be 11 out of 10 second go.
Yep.
It's not going to ruin it.
Wait till you've had appropriate time to clean up after the stuffy fundraiser that you didn't get a chance to.
Fresh out of the shower.
So he's there. They're putting on a show together. You know, we've got to find dancers. He gets a makeover. Again, they know their audience. He gets to go and go clothes shopping.
Loved.
Yeah, we like that.
He comes out in like a black hoodie and a slick black trench coat.
Yeah, there's she has like Batman has Alfred. She had a weird older man butler that did everything for her. It was her Alfred.
Right.
He kind of helped the narration go along. Her adoptive daughter Zadie was the sometimes narrator. And there was a few issues with that because Zadie was a dead ringer for Zoe Kravitz.
Oh.
Who Channing is obviously currently dating.
Oh, dear me. Is that confirmed that they're together?
Yes. I don't know.
Well,
Who cares?
yes.
But that is disturbing.
And it was the film trying to ground it in correlating dance with magic. She gave the history of dance and gods, and it was
so bad.
Yeah, it was weird.
It didn't work, especially when she would start narrating when it's like a sexy dance scene or a dance montage and Channing's there like humping shirtless and she's like, and this is dancing. And I always wanted to dance.
Oh, no, hang on. Now, listen, she wasn't fucking Tiny Tim. She wasn't Oliver Twist. Hey, sir, can I dance? That's not what was going on.
It's better for the story.
Anyway, we go through all of this. There's lots of obstacles to the show going ahead, but lo and behold, we're at opening night, okay?
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. The whole...
No, the idea, though, that he gets for the finale.
All right, like they have a fight.
They have a fight in the rain and he goes, I've got it.
Yeah, wait, no. So they go to a dinner with all these stuffy other billionaires, friends of her husband's, and like, you know, they're coming back and she tries to break her rule of kissing him and he like pulls away and she gets desperately upset and like they have a fight. And then they find...
He only pulls away because he wants to check that she's okay with it and that she's not too drunk and that there's consent.
And so...
Feminist.
Yes, he's such a feminist. And then... and then the ex-husband tries to shut the show down and she goes to stand up to the ex-husband but he says, you'll have nothing if you put this show on. So she goes back to tell Mike and it's the night before opening night and it starts raining and they have a fight and she runs away but he couldn't figure out the opening number until that minute and then he knows what to do.
In the rain.
So we still don't know what the closing number's going to be. We still
Oh, my God.
What could get involved? And then Mike goes inside and says, I need a plumber and a ballerina. And we're like...
Best line of the whole film.
Pretty much. So we sit through the show with the dancers. Great, amazing. I don't really think there was a storyline, but who cares? And then we get to the final number.
Also, this whole time, Channing has been like, I'm not dancing. I'm just a director. I don't do that anymore. I'm not dancing. I'm not dancing.
Yeah, I do not dance. Nothing on this earth could possibly get me to dance ever
Unless
again.
it starts raining.
Yeah, so we get the stage clears and it starts raining and there's a park bench and a lamp because contemporary dance can't happen without a park bench and like a lamp.
Correct.
And Channing's there and a woman comes on stage, obviously meant to represent Salma's character, and he recreates their love story through dance and knee slides and stripping and rain and sex, and they slide all over the stage and there's so much water and we were all fucking
And if you didn't pick up on that, don't worry, because they... Flashbacks.
Dance move, flashback.
Montage.
If you were
If the
concerned,
storytelling was too subtle, they sorted you out.
Them dancing in the rain, them arguing in the rain.
And exactly like them doing a particular sex move, them doing a particular, but in the rain.
Then she'd get flashbacks to the start of the
movie. Did they find a dancer that was Selma-esque? Had we seen her before, or is she just revealed in this sequence?
Not yet.
Correct. She was shown briefly when they were talking about how all these great shows were being shut down by this terrible woman in the arts department, and she was a ballerina in Swan Lake that didn't get to go on. But we only saw her for 10 seconds.
I mean, though, she was young and hot and muscular.
And how did they know that was the particular ballerina that got shut down?
Well,
doesn't matter.
The stage manager knows everyone.
Smoke and mirrors. Yep. Good. So this ballerina, and she only had, I would say, 12 hours to learn this love story through knee slides and gyro.
I would spend all those 12 hours with him.
That I cannot. It was the hottest. I thought the opening Praying Mantis Reverse Cowgirl was hot.
Nah, this was ridiculous.
My fucking God, it was so. We all clapped. Like we are the people that clap at the end of movies.
Also, there was no music or sound. It was just the rain, and we're just watching them
slapping. Put rain.
Really?
Zeke, and then put rain in. Okay, now just imagine.
Oh, I don't know if it was that aggressive.
Oh, my mic's
losing your mic.
But every time one of them would slide, like they were insinuating sex jizz. For me, it felt like a jizz
Thanks
statement.
for clarifying that 4 times.
Because honestly, he would like pound her from behind, stunning. And then she would go flying across the stage from the sheer orgasm. And as she would slide, it would slosh. It was wild. It was great. I think it was a little too much water. Don't you think?
It really did come down hard at the end, but I mean...
I don't know how that theatre didn't flood, honestly, for so many reasons.
But also, and then the next dance...
Bone dry.
Bone dry. Where's the water gone? Doesn't exist. What water?
When we actually finally get to the final, where everyone comes out and like, woo, and the audience
starts
is like,
raining
the theatre's
money.
saved. Thank God, yay. There's no water.
Oh, no, but then remember they bring up like all the older women, and they all get lap dances and...
Oh, yeah. The lady who looks like the art curator from New York, who doesn't say a word, but gets a lot of lap dances. Good for fucking her. This woman's got to be 70. She got cast in this movie, didn't get one line, but got 20 lap dances.
Yep.
I love her.
Wow.
So, look, it is a horny fairy tale for middle-aged women. This is what I want to impart on you. The storyline is questionable. I understand what they were trying to do, but I don't care. It was fucking amazing. I'm giving it 5 abs out of 6 because, honestly, the opening and the closing is worth the middle. And those
It sounds like you need to divide it up and give separate star ratings for separate sections.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's like a 10-star to a 2-star, but then back to a 14-star experience.
Yes. But I just want to say, as I looked around the cinema and was watching people leave from the other cinemas, this is an underserviced area. We are underserviced in so many areas of our lives as women of a certain age. If filmmakers started properly cashing in on this, there is not enough films in this genre. And they need to make more because we are thirsty for it, because it's no effort from us because we're fucking exhausted, but we get to have all the fun watching it. So I highly recommend go with your friends, go in gold class if you can treat yourself. That was lovely. And just prepare. Like...
But what about, do you feel that, like, you know how now we're in the era of peen on screen, as everything from Minx and Lady Chatterley's Lover, were you completely satisfied that I'm presuming it did not go that far? Or were you thinking, you know, did it feel like it pulled its punch, so to speak, by not going full frontal?
I didn't miss...
We should have gotten a bum shot.
No, I didn't
miss not even a bum shot?
No, I just think there should have been a sex scene. I think it's ridiculous that we didn't get a sex scene.
But would the sex
somewhere
scene...
in the middle? It should have happened. They should have hooked it. When she tried to kiss him and cracked it and then she cracked it, they should have gotten back to the room and they should have hooked up.
I feel like there is no sex scene that could have topped the crotch dancing.
Correct. That's why it should have happened before the crotch dancing.
But would that have made the final dance knee slide scene?
Yeah, because they're like...
That's when they make up and they kiss.
I know, but I just think it's absurd there was no sex.
Well, that's coming from my daughter, so good.
Or we should have at least seen removal of clothing in the dance scene, in the opening dance scene, instead of the la la la, we just had sex.
I didn't miss the dicks. I'll be honest.
No, not the dicks.
I feel like a full frontal peen shot was...
No, I didn't know. That's
it would
not.
be a dick too far. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you've got obscure streaming documentaries to go
Yep.
to if that's what you want to see.
And we've just named the episode, Ben, please, a dick too far. So, I mean, what are you going to give it, Marcella? I loved it. I thought it did its job. It ticked my box. I'll tell you right now.
She seems mixed.
Yes. No, you're the critical. You're the theatre student. Come on.
4 out of... What?
Bring your academic perspective.
Yeah.
4
all
out
your
of
years.
6 abs.
Okay.
4 out of 6 abs. That's fair. Okay. Do you have any questions, Michael Lucas, before we move on?
My question is weirdly, should I see it? And I frankly still don't know the answer to that. I'm going to say,
Yes.
I'm not sure. Yes, okay.
Yes.
But should I just see it in a streaming situation where I can go from the first sequence to the last sequence?
No, I'll take you. We can go next week. We'll do
I'm
a
definitely
Sunday
going
over.
again.
Yeah, we'll do a Sunday over golf class. It'd be great.
Really?
Let's do
All
it.
right.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. Well, everybody's been speaking about it. It feels a bit old, but we're going to do it because people want our hot take. The Grammys.
It was only
Obviously.
2 nights ago. But yes, it does feel old. You're right.
You know the media cycle. The Grammys obviously occurred and so many highlights. Obviously, Beyonce winning her 32nd Grammy, record-breaking. We had our first trans woman taking out her first Grammy. We had the 50th anniversary of hip-hop occur. That was extraordinary how they managed to coordinate all those egos. There were so many great things to celebrate. But what everyone's speaking about at the moment is Harry Styles' acceptance speech.
Well, and the fact that he won Album of the Year at all.
Well, yeah, and the two are kind of linked, you know, the fact that he did and the history of the Grammys and who has taken out that award in the past.
Well, and also I feel like, because I think some people think Beyonce fans look a bit crazy because they're like, she's won the most ever. Why are you upset that she didn't win Album of the Year? But she's won the most ever because she sweeps the R&B categories, the subcategories. But
Correct.
the big 4 categories, she's only ever won once, for Best Song for Single Ladies.
Yeah.
She's been nominated for Best Recording 8 times and never won, and she's been nominated for Album of the Year 4 times and never won. She's always shut out. And those awards are the ones that are voted on by the entire industry.
Yeah.
And yeah.
It's not. So 66 Grammy Awards have occurred and only 16 black artists have taken out Album of the Year. And the problem is, you know, when you look at it, the Recording Academy of America, they have a clear bias in Album of the Year for safe, middle-of-the-road white performers. And I went and looked at some of the recent upsets, and they were quite extraordinary. So Taylor Swift won over Kendrick Lamar, and that year Kendrick was the top, hottest tipped artist. Everyone's like, there's no way he can lose this. I remember Taylor was shocked. Mumford & Sons won over Frank Ocean's Channel Orange, which was wild. Adele beat Beyonce's Lemonade, which was pretty wild.
Even Adele knew that was incorrect.
Billie Eilish beat out Lizzo. U2 beat out Kanye. Casey Musgrave beat out Janelle Monáe. And now Harry has beaten out Beyonce.
Oh, well, and also in Best New Artist ones, Macklemore beat out like Kendrick Lamar. And I mean, that's what an insult.
Yeah. So Harry winning does expose this bias. And he gave a speech. Let's have a listen.
I'm just so... this doesn't happen to people like me very often, and this is so nice. Thank you very, very much.
So, Michael, we know, I mean, people who know Harry, what was he referring to? Where did he used to work?
The bakery.
He worked at a bakery,
Or
okay?
the other one, I mean, and look, can I just be clear? I'm not defending. I'm horrified that Renaissance did not win. And I thought, what a, like, unbelievably tone-deaf thing to say. Or was there the feeling of, like, you know, he's certainly the first reality TV contestant to take out Album of the Year at the Grammys. Traditionally, people that win reality TV singing competitions do not end up writing and producing Album of the Year. I don't know whether that was a factor. I mean, for me, the other big thing about it was, and I can't say this enough, but if you know you're nominated for an award, you prepare and memorise a speech. And he clearly came up going, well, shit. Well, I mean, he'd already delivered his speech for Best Pop Album, so maybe he'd said everything he wanted to say, but he was very unprepared and said something really tone deaf.
A lot of people are like, oh, why is everyone blowing up? He didn't mean it that way. But that's the whole problem. We are in a culture that rewards mediocre, middle-of-the-road white men who can do whatever the fuck they want to whatever standard, and when there are clearly excellent people of colour behind them who have to work 20 times harder to even be in the room, they still can't get a leg in. And that's the whole problem, is that Harry wasn't even aware of that when he gave his acceptance speech. Look, we're all fond of Harry, and the problem with the toxic stan culture, the Stylers versus the Beehive, it is popping off, I'll tell you right now, but I will back the Beehive in over the Stylers any day of the week.
It's also just so maddening, like, you know, and I get ready for me to draw a really long bow, but there's one key similarity between Harry Styles and Beyonce, and that is, of course, that they both began, like he began in a boy band, she began in a girl band, and then they both went solo to really great success. But he in his career is where she was at when she released B-Day, like about 15 years ago, if not more. And it's taken, and she still has not won, except for one time, one of the major Grammys, and never won Album of the Year. And so he's already winning. Like Taylor Swift has won it 3 times, and she's a decade younger than Beyonce. It's wild. Yeah. Having said that, I kind of think, you know, I think his speech was really tone deaf, but also like the problem, you know,
it's bigger.
I don't feel like he should.
Harry, he shouldn't bear the brunt of what he's bearing, but unfortunately, it was like, you know, that it was the perfect storm, and this has exposed the real underlying issue, and hopefully moving forward, something is done about it. But the real, actual low point of the night was, in fact.
Everybody take a deep breath.
I got a text message from Michael Lucas because he was ahead of me in the broadcast. Oh. And he said to me, I need to prepare you for who's presenting
there are no words.
Album of the Year. And he said, for you personally, I feel the only person worse than this would be if Vladimir Putin himself. And straight away I knew. And I said,
Corden!
Well, and at the time I was watching Stevie Wonder perform, the GOAT, the greatest, like my favourite. And I thought nothing can bring me down from this high. And then I hear that snivelling. And if I get one more message saying, oh, what has he done? I've missed it. Why don't you like James Corden? I'm like, go and research. Don't put me through that trauma again. Go and do your own research. It's not hard.
This is why I feel like, though, we need to write a thesis to just forward on. Like, here's something I prepared earlier.
Well, if you want to do that.
I will.
The how that and the way... Oh, the way he walked out, like, what am I doing here? Oh, I've forgotten what category I'm presenting.
I know, he was trying to be fake humble.
Whoops, how did I get Best Dance Release?
I'm here to announce the winner of Best Dance and Electronic Album. Because of course I am.
I'll tell you how you got Best Dance Release, you little... You walked into your best mate who runs the Grammys office and you said, oi, give me the Beyonce one. I want to be involved. I want to insert myself in... Hang on. I want to insert myself in every single fucking thing I can, even though I have no business being there.
Do you want fuel for this fire? Chella's probably already onto this. The producer of the Grammys telecast is
his
a
best
British
mate.
dude but also Harry Styles. And in fact, the little girl at the start of As It Was that says, come on, Harry, we want to say goodnight to you. That is his daughter. They tweeted it out.
Oh,
they tweeted it. The Grammys tweeted it out going, fun trivia fact, the producer of the Grammys, his daughter is what you hear at the start of, like, As It Was, Harry Styles' biggest... So it's like... And then Harry Styles goes on to take out the top award and it looks like, so Harry Styles... It was a boys' club and Harry Styles was friends with the Grammys producer. And they thought it was going to be cute.
But the only thing, a black woman is getting a historic number of Grammys. There was literally... The nana who was obsessed with Harry Styles had more qualifications to present that award to Beyonce than James Corden did. The tone-deaf nature of whoever signed off on that, the fact that they thought that would be acceptable, it made
no sense. Everyone was like, what are you doing here? Why are you here? You're not a musician.
Viola Davis got an EGOT.
And she was not televised. I know.
For her to A, get her moment, and B, give the moment to another incredible woman of colour breaking a record.
And also, Best Dance Electronic Recording isn't necessarily one they put on the telecast. They put it on because they knew it was going to be when Beyonce was going to win it. So they knew it was a thing, and it was all, and he got it.
It's so
makes
yuck.
My skin crawl. And you want to know what the problem is? You want to know why people are enraged about Harry and that moment, especially with James Corden, a white straight guy of questionable abilities, inserting himself in a woman of colour's triumph. That is the problem with the Grammys and the Oscars and every other fucking award show. James Corden is the face of the problem.
All of them. I swear to God, if he hosts the Tonys again...
What are you going to do?
I don't know.
You didn't know when you were finishing that sentence when you started, but it sounded threatening. I swear to God.
I will find him.
So anyway, Lizzo was amazing. Her performance was incredible. Her voice was on point. Her and Adele having the cis-mance in the front was so beautiful.
With their boyfriends, and they were passing flasks around the table.
It's true. Lizzo had a flask
and
in
Lizzo
her
was
purse.
like, my mans is here with me.
Yeah,
oh.
It was really good.
A really comfortable vibe between J-Lo and Ben the whole way.
So the Daily Mail paid a lip reader to...
Oh, yeah.
And this is what she apparently said, and it is the most J-Lo could take down of all time. She said, look more friendly, look more motivated.
It didn't work.
It's the equivalent of the hard knee squeeze from the wife to the husband. I have to give it to my husband all the time because when Scott and I go out, he gives too much information to people. A waiter will come over. Maybe I've had a crook guts the day before and he'll be like, oh, no, she can't order that. She's had diarrhea for 24 hours. My husband often needs the hard knee squeeze, and that was J-Lo's equivalent of being like, it's like when you're yelling at your kids at a shopping centre and you don't want people to judge you. You're like, pull your fucking hood in now. So she did. But I love that J-Lo, when she's angry, says,
look more motivational. Well, he didn't take the director's note.
Well, he can't because of the Botox. J-Lo's Glam Squad have gone too hard on his face, right?
I really appreciated your online breakdown of what he's done.
Yeah,
I really think if you wanted to release that as a show with an expert, I would watch.
The sandblaster was set too high. They've gone in too hard. But I said, Marcella.
The beard.
No, the Botox. What's happened is he's gone too hard here, so sad brows.
But it's always been sad, Ben.
No, but he can't lift this up. The other thing is, if you look at the pattern of the hair of his beard, underneath it looks like a continuation of a sad mouth. He has a sad mouth bald pattern under his bottom lip.
Fill it in.
The gays missed that
hair
too.
in a can.
He also
Anyway.
just
George
looked
Costanza.
hungry. I feel like to fit into that suit.
He was also just like, why am I here?
Sad Ben's
I don't need to be here.
They will not last the year. I'm telling
your
you.
memorable prediction. It's
There's
really
no
looking
way.
on the line. I can't believe we're here. We're just in February and already I'm starting to think you've called that one right.
Now, before we leave the Grammys, we do have to do our weekly.
Good for her.
Good for her. Good for her.
Good for her.
Good for her.
I'm thrilled to say that maybe not for the last time this year, the good for her goes to our one and only, except for Beyonce, true queen, Madonna.
Yes, good for her. Now, why are we giving Madonna a good for her? This is you, babes. Go, run for it. Go with it.
Madonna at the Grammys came out and she introduced Sam Smith and Kim Petras singing. Is that how I say her last name? Kim Petras?
Yep.
Singing Unholy, sorry. Mm-hmm. And she did a dedication to all the rebels out there and, people that caused controversy and told them that she was appreciated. That was a little moment. But caused a firestorm when particularly, people were commenting at it, just looking at her, but basically no one heard anything she said. All anyone talked about was, what has Madonna done with her face? And then there was an actual online trend when people posted pictures of their 64-year-old mothers and compared them to Madonna and basically used her as an example of how not to age. And why can't she just age gracefully? She used to be so beautiful. What has she done? And then Madonna has fired back today.
She has. And an amazing post basically saying, again, This is happening to me through the lens of the misogynist gaze. I'm being told how to be, how to act, how to look. I will not stop. I will be relentless. This will not slow me down. I don't give a fuck, basically. All the things we love about her. And as I have said multiple times on this podcast, this is one of the only ways left for Madonna to rebel, which she loves doing. She's an iconoclast. Like, the last thing she has, really, because everyone's done everything else and ripped her off and copied her, the last thing she could do is control the way she ages. And we do not get to police how a woman presents herself. We must stop this. And I tweeted that. And the response I got, I didn't even bother. People are just so, well, if she was aging appropriately, we wouldn't have to comment. I'm like, says who? Who decides and deems what's appropriate? Men! Men have set the beauty standards. They make them impossible for us to achieve, and then all of a sudden we turn 45 and we're supposed to go out to pasture and grow our pubes and look like Gandalf at top and bottom and fucking, farm eggs and give up and die. Like, 45 plus, up to that point, we've got to look tight and never dare age, and then that's it. Go off to die. So I think...
Yeah. And there's footage of her, there's amazing footage of her even back in her 30s confronting questions about ageism and everything like that. And she uses that phrase, what am I supposed to do? Put myself out to pasture? I'm not going to do that. And also in her post, she sort of said, I feel like, I'm going to rebel against ageism and I'm going to... I love it how she's going to she says, and I'm going to fully enjoy my life. But also... I remember when she turned 40 and everyone went on and on and on about it, and she was like, when she was releasing the music album and she was being called grandma back then and everything, there was such a big thing. And I do feel like Beyonce didn't cop that as much. Like, it changed, and I think it is right that she gets burned at the stake for it, but that it does get that little bit easier. I mean, I'm sure it's not like misogyny and ageism is going to go anywhere. No. But she is the pioneer in some ways, and it does mean that people coming up after her, she's been forged, had to go through the flames. Yeah. And there's,
She constantly sets herself on fire to clear the path, and that should always be remembered. And, I am 44 in a month. And I am so far from being done, truly. And I cannot believe anyone would say to any woman at my age, and I've never felt more vibrant and powerful, and I know who I am, and I've got so much I want to achieve. I've only got a year to do it now because I'm 44. So it's just fuck off. If I hear one more, and I always, because I'm considered one of the gatekeepers, I always get messages, what's happening with Madonna's face? What's going on? And I lost it at so many people yesterday. I just was like, what? Why is it your business? Let her be. So we say good for her.
Why is it that you think, I'm genuinely interested in this? People they do get really obsessed and really critical about her face, but in a way that I don't know why, Dolly and everyone, why is it no problem? Why don't people get so worked up about them?
Because not only is she, rebelling against how she should look, she's also rebelling against how she should act.
Yeah, right.
Dolly still acts like everyone's favourite nana. She doesn't
really do anything controversial.
Sexy, yeah. I imagine Miley's going to age much the same way, as Madonna. Madonna's not only kind of changing the way we expect someone to look at 64, but she's also refusing to act like someone who's 64. And that's what people have the issue with. I think if her face was the way she's presenting it and she was, just going to bingo and whatever, bingo, whatever. I didn't know what
64 singing ballads and
whatever,
doing nice photo spreads about how proud she is of her children.
Barbara's face is as attended to as Madonna's, but Barbara acts like an older lady, so no one has an issue with it. Do you know what I mean?
Barbara isn't on Instagram having tongue kisses with random
good for her
models in the backs of cars.
Good for her.
Oh, I love you, Madge. Anyway, I can't wait to see it up close and personal in August, let me tell you right now.
Em Rusciano and Michael Lucas. This is Emsolation.
All right, we've got some fun headlines. A woman has gone on a podcast and said that her girlfriend hooked up with Zac Efron, and her complaint was that Zac likes going down to Pussy Town a little too much, if you know what I'm saying.
He should have been a dancer on Magic Mike.
Zac likes to eat out. Do you know what I know you're a gay man.
Yeah, no, I do. I'm familiar with what you're saying.
Yeah, we got it.
He doesn't
I got it.
Yeah. He doesn't want to so much have the sex. He just wants to do that all the time.
Oh, now I know. Yes, your implication is vivid.
So, I mean, Chella, what do you have to say for your future husband?
I think it's lovely. He's so attentive to
He's in Melbourne at the
woman's
moment.
needs. Oh, I'm aware.
Okay, next headline I enjoyed. The woman, the older lady that Harry of Windsor, not Harry Styles, that Harry of Windsor lost his virginity to, has come forward and claimed the title.
What? She said, yes, it was I.
Her name is Sasha Walpole.
Oh, let's change that.
And she has given an in-depth interview.
Hi, I'm Sasha Walpole. I'm here to tell my story in my words. I am the lady that Prince Harry wrote about in his book, who he lost his virginity to.
But also, she was 19, he was 16. Like, in my mind, it was a 16-year-old.
I thought it was like a 40-year-old.
Yeah,
I know. It really felt that way. Like everyone said, is it Liz Hurley? Like everyone, took it a bit far. I really appreciated her clarification. Is like, he said that I slapped his ass and said him on his way, but I actually slapped his ass and gave it a pinch.
And she said it looked like a peach. So that's nice.
How old is she now?
40.
She doesn't remember that much detail.
Oh, I remember the cobblestones behind Bridie O'Reilly's.
Oh, yeah,
Come on.
really,
I think if you
we've heard about
shagged
that.
a prince, surely you'd remember. Apart from anything else, you'd be sitting there going, I don't know when and I don't know how, but I'm going to make a lot of money selling this story one day. I just need the green fucking light. And she got
said
it.
that. Remember the opening line is, I've been sitting on this secret for 21 years.
Oh,
I was like, go get it, girl. Good for her. I loved it. I love everything about this. I love that she's like, I love that they tracked her down. And she's been, I wonder, but is this something she like tells people? Yeah, I slept with Harry.
100%. That's her party story. I don't believe it. Well, I can describe his ass.
I love it. It does sound like she's describing a cult she's just bought at the horse show, truly, doesn't it, when she's talking about him?
I just really wish someone had said to you, and who, madam, would you like to play you in the next season of The Crown?
Pamela, a love story. Do you want to exit the podcast at this point?
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, don't tell me this 90s icon hasn't made the impact on you just because her claim to fame was before you were even born.
Pamela's never entered my sphere at all for any reason.
Just drive home. I'll get the train home. Okay. Okay, Michael, Marcella's left as she has an important function to attend this evening. But before we went, I wanted to talk about Pamela, a Love Story, the new Netflix doco about 90s icon Pamela Anderson, the retelling of the story we all thought we knew, but this time it's Pamela's.
I didn't sleep last night at all. If anybody is watching this, go to hell. I blocked that stolen tape out of my life in order to survive. And now that it's all coming up again, I feel sick. I want to take control of the narrative for the first time.
I just want to state, first of all, that they did gloss over Pamela has been a tad problematic in the past.
Yeah.
This doco is very pro-Pamela because she was involved in making it with her sons, and I just want to say straight off the bat, I want to acknowledge she does consider Vladimir Putin. We've mentioned Putin twice in this episode. I just didn't think that would happen.
No.
She does have a relationship with Vladimir Putin. She did make very unfortunate comments about Harvey Weinstein's victims, and she did have some dealings with Julian Assange.
She was not a great figure in the Me Too movement, I think it's fair to say. There was a lot of interviews where she said things like, "If
it takes
you know,
two to
you know
tango."
what you're doing if you go into a hotel room."
Yeah, there's a lot of victim blaming going on from Pammy. But they don't mention that in this doco. But I just want to caveat everything we're about to say with I am aware of all of those things. But sometimes bad words happen to good people. Maybe I'm going to give them benefit of the doubt.
Harry Styles, case in point.
Correct. So what did you think, first of all? I mean, I know you're only halfway through. I watched it all. It's slow. Like, it's takes its own time.
It is slow, but I mean, I actually really relished being able to hear the full story because she is someone that has been so sort of seen in every way and not heard from, and so many people have done so much with her image, with or without her consent. And also, like, she's another one of those figures that's kind of been there ever since we were teenagers, and she loomed large for us because she was held up as the sort of the chick that every guy was obsessed with and like the living embodiment of female, like what the sexy female should look like. And then to hear how she wound up in that position, the toll it took and everything in between. But also, I think the other thing for me is like, it was really kind of moving because I feel like, yeah, she's emerged from it all with I don't know that she has full self-awareness, but I feel like she's in a pretty good place and is a good mum, and her sons are amazing. And I feel like that's a bit of a triumph to come out on the other side and be able to tell your story in this way. What did you think?
I mean, she had me in the heeled gumboots on the rider mower.
I noticed that. But I love that was sort of presented by, like, you know, I'm just out here mowing my lawn and I'm not wearing any makeup or anything, but then it cuts to the gumboots and gumboots with heels.
Yeah, and I also like how she said she's like a salmon going home to spawn and die.
I'm like a spawning salmon just coming home to die. No, I'm kidding. It's terrible.
I love that too. She went back to where she grew up, to her parents' home, and we do learn she had a pretty awful childhood, but also the extraordinary thing is kept a journal or a yellow legal pad or a videotape of pretty much every day of her life since she was 10. And then handed that all over to the Netflix doco team, the keys, and just said, just take it. I don't want to know what you're going to do with it. So the level of – that's what she's like though. She's very fly by the seat of your pants. Like she seems to love a challenge. She loves falling in love. She's been married multiple times. In fact, she's married and loses that marriage during the filming of the doco. He's there at the start and not the end.
Yeah.
But the biggest takeaway for me, and I didn't really understand this, was exactly how dehumanising the whole sex tape controversy actually was for her. I mean, I always kind of knew it was, you know, stolen, but I didn't really think too deeply about it until I watched her go to trial when they finally figured out one of the contractors that was working on the reno on their house stole it. And allegedly he'd said he did it because Tommy Lee didn't pay him and he took it as retribution or whatever. And she's so sure that she's going to win, and she takes the guy to court, and then she gets into the courtroom and there's pictures of her everywhere in Playboy, and basically they say to her, because you've chosen to pose nude and because you're a sex icon, you have lost your right to privacy because you're a certain type of woman. And that to me was... And she lost. They ended up abandoning the trial because it was so upsetting to her, and she was pregnant with her second child at the time. And she has been dehumanized and taken out of her own narrative so many times. But the fact is she chose to pose for Playboy. She chose to do Baywatch. This was all done with her consent. This sex tape was taken and distributed without her knowledge, without her permission, which then also, when they were talking about that Pammy and Tommy show that the Hulu released last year, and you and I both said we're really uncomfortable with it, that's the sex tape and that show are very similar because, again, men took her image and her story without her permission and profited from it. So, again, it happened to her with that Pammy and Tommy movie series that they made. So I think that's the most thing I took about it was, I think maybe at 55 she's finally wrestled her own narrative back. I feel like that's what I took from this doco.
Yeah, totally. And it was a kind of riveting narrative as well.
Yeah.
And it made me realise, you know how Madonna was spending so long trying to get this narrative feature? Apart from the fact that I want to see the movie about the audition process, I would just love it if she did like a Pammy-style doco and just told it in her own words and we could see all the archive footage. The other thing that was really amazing was anytime she wanted a talk show in the 90s, like it is, what was going on in that era? Like we were... Our attitudes about what is an appropriate thing to say to someone, Jesus, they have changed a lot since we were teenagers.
I know, I feel like I've had my rant pants on this episode and I'm sorry, but poorly behaved men have really been in my crosshairs this week. History has its eyes on Jay Leno and David Letterman and Howard Stern and Matt Lauer, these men that reduced her to body parts when they would interview her, when she was visibly uncomfortable, when they weren't there to talk about her work. Oh, I'll tell you, it's aging like milk, isn't it? Those interviews.
Oh, so gross.
My
And how wild is it that even now, like all those talk show hosts are still men? Like there's not, I mean, I know Samantha Bee popped up briefly, but what is going on? Like it's why is it that the last voices you need to hear on television before you go to bed have to be these sort of men that are stuck in the past?
Correct. That for me too was so disturbing. The way she was treated by those men in those interviews was it Howard Stern who said, "I've got the DVD"? Was that who said that?
It sounds like him.
Yeah. It was just, and Jay Leno repeatedly making jokes about the sex tape. Like every week his monologue involved that for many. Just revolting. But by the end of it, I felt a kinship with Pammy. She took on a role as Roxy in Chicago. You know, you'd call her a strong mover, can hold a note. And her son reading her the review, I burst into tears. Her eldest son has a real Chella vibe. Like their relationship is very similar. And I'm glad she has her sons. He was very much a part of this. She didn't actually see the documentary until it was done. She had nothing to do with the pudding that she didn't want to. She said, "I don't want to know." I truly wish her well. I have to say, I do.
No, I felt it. You were moved. It struck a chord.
All right. You'll be back in studio next week. I look forward to the outfit. Is there a tease? What can I expect?
No. I'm not revealing anything. That may be connected to the fact that I haven't thought about it yet. Maybe it's that the plan is so elaborate, it would be an absolute mistake to reveal anything. So anyway.
All right. And also before we go, we want to say you do it.
We want to give a special shout out to Jason Toe.
Yes.
Very hectic, max level premium Emsolator.
Good. All right. Off you go. And I'll see you in studio next week.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Okay. Bye.
This is Emsolation.
All right, everybody, that's all we have time for. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back next week. Don't forget, Michael Lucas has promised the outfit to end all outfits. You do not want to miss it. I have no idea what it's going to be. It could go either way. I genuinely hope it's a wedding dress. I don't know, but it can't be worse than the denim shorts and the dirty T-shirt that he pulled out last week. Have a wonderful weekend. And, we'll talk soon. Bye.
Emsolation with Em Rossiano is a Spotify exclusive podcast recorded at Down the Hill Studios, hosted by Em Rossiano with Michael Lucas and sometimes her eldest daughter, Marcella. Executive produced by Benjamin Wasley. Produced by Em Rossiano. Edited by Ezekiel Fenn. With videos by James Henderson. Socials by Marcella Rossiano Barrow. With assistance from Jem Evans, plus cameos from Em's dad Vincy. Get the full Emsolation experience by following us on Instagram at Emsolation Podcast. You can also sign up for our weekly newsletter. Join other Emsolators at the Emsolation group on Facebook. The answer is Harry Styles. If you really want to help us out, you could become a patron of Emsolation. Share this podcast with a friend. Give us a 5-star rating and make sure you're following us on the Spotify app by actually hitting the follow button. As always, thanks for listening, and we're excited to chat with you again soon.